Welcome back to the vlog. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be playing at Capital Casino in the 1-3 game. I just want to take a quick moment to say thank you to all the people who have congratulated me on my 5,000 subs, and also all the people that have come up to me in the card room and have told me how much they appreciate and enjoy the vlog. It really means the world to me. It gives me motivation to keep on making vlogs, and I just want to say thanks. One player in particular is a regular in the tournaments at Capital Casino, and he told me that his significant other was very enamored with Zeus. So a shout out to you, Susan. Thanks for liking Zeus so much. I'm sure he'll be happy to hear that information. Anyway, we'll get right into it. Sit back, relax, enjoy. Here it comes. We're back at Capital Casino. If you're ever in the Sacramento area, I highly recommend checking the place out. We jump into a brand new 1-3 game, and the first hand off the deck, we have Ace-Queen offsuit, open for a raise to 15. We end up getting two callers, one from a player in middle position and another one from the big blind. So we're going three ways to a flop with 46 in the pot. Flop is King 5-6 with two hearts. So not a great flop for our hand, but it is decent for our range. We want to keep the aggression going, so we bet 15. First player folds out, and we get a call from the player in the big blind. See a turn card of a 4 diamonds. One of the worst cards in the deck. It does complete the straight draws. It does put up a second flush draw. He checks it over to me, and here I'm just checking back. Even if I had a king in this spot, I might be checking back. River card comes as a 5 of clubs, and he bets out quickly for $50. I really don't feel like he has it here, and I guess I'm just going to be a bluff catcher and look him up. I toss in the chip, and he tosses in his cards, so we win the first pot. A couple hands later, we look down at two queens from the small blind. There is a limper from the low jack, one from the button. We raise to 20, and we get called by the big blind, the low jack, and the button. So 4 ways to a flop with $80 in the pot. Flop comes out Queen Jack 3 with the Queen Jack of spades. So we flop top set, but it is a wet board. We decide to bet 35. First player puts in the quick fold, and then it's on to the low jack. So the low jack decides that he's going to make a call, but he took his sweet time in doing so. So it makes me really feel like he is drawing to something and was considering raising on the flop. Turn card comes as a 9 of clubs, completes the straight draw with King 10, but all the flush draws miss, so I'm going to continue for $70. Now this player is a very competent player who I've battled with quite a bit over the last few months or even years, and I always have a tough time reading him, but for me it really feels like he's about to make a move on me. Now, I could be wrong, he could have King 10, but I really think he's making a move, and he decides to raise to $240. So that's $170 more to me. And in this spot, I think the obvious play would be just to jam and get it all in. He has about another 240 behind. If he has King 10, he has King 10. I'm not going to be getting away from top set anyway. So I might as well just get in and deny equity to all his draws. And then on the other hand, I can just flat and see if I can pick up a read on him. So I start counting out my chips and was looking over at him to see his reaction when I start counting out my chips. Because I have a hard time reading this guy, and I'm trying to pick up anything I can. So I put the call in, see the river card, complete blank of a 7 of diamonds. So sticking with the plan of letting him bluff off if he's bluffing, I just check it on over to him, and he puts in a quick jam. So again, I'm studying his body language, his reactions. I tank for maybe 20 to 30 seconds, trying to pick up any information I can, and then I put in the call. And he turns over ace 8 of spades, so he did have a flush draw. He picked up a straight draw on the turn, and he made that play. I like his play, and I think he's a really tough opponent. In fact, I like his play better than my play. I really feel like just jamming on the turn is the answer. It's the standard play, and usually when you try to get too fancy, you get yourself into trouble. So even though I got max value this time, I think next time I'll probably just be jamming with my top set. All right, I got some big news. Andrew Locke and I are going to be hosting a meetup game at Lucky Chances on November 10th. It's going to be a 3-3 no limit game with a buy-in from $100 to $500. And if you're interested, you can sign up early at Andrew's website. It's called projectlock.com. There is an events page that you can just fill out that you're going to be there. And I look forward to seeing everybody down at Lucky Chances Casino on November the 10th. The very next hand, I'm on the button with ace-10 offsuit. There is a limper from early position. I raise to 15, and I get a call from the big blind player. The limper actually folds out, so we're going to go heads up to a flop with $34 in the pot. I won the first 3 hands so far this game, and people are getting a little bit suspicious of my antics. And the flop comes 9-5-4 with 2 clubs. I do have the ace of clubs, so I could bet this, but I decided to check it back because basically this really doesn't hit my raising range too hard. Turn card, though, is a 10 of diamonds, which I love, and my opponent leads out for $40 into a $34 pot. So big sizing. I think he has 10, probably with a king kicker or queen kicker. I put in the call. He checks the river when a 7 of hearts comes. I think he's in the bluff catching mode, seeing if I would bet or fire away with a miss diamond draw. So I put out a bet for 60. Thinking back on this, I should probably get maybe a little more value because he's going to be calling me because he thinks I have a missed draw. I show him the 10, he mucks his hand, and that's 4 pots in a row.
Hi, Susan. I hear you like me, and while your man is down at the casino playing poker, and Doug is at Lucky Chances for the meetup game, I was thinking that maybe, well, just maybe, you can come over one night, and we can, go for a walk?
That dog sure likes walks. Here we are in the small blind with ace jack of spades. There were a bunch of limpers. I put in the raise to 30, thinking it would thin the field. But once the big blind puts in the call, everyone else feels like they're incentivized to win a big pot, and they call also. So end up going 5 ways to a flop with $150 in the pot. Now, as I said, I've been running pretty hot so far. I won the first 4 hands off the deck. And this is about 10 minutes later, and the flop comes King 7-8 with King 7 of spades. So yeah, we hit another good flop. We're most likely the favorite on this hand unless we run into someone with a set. Decided to build a pot a little bit. I bet 35. I think this is probably a little bit too small, but I have a tendency to make small bets, so I can't read too much into it. The player in the big blind puts in a basically a min raise to 75. I don't think he would be doing this with a draw, and since I have ace queen of spades, there's not too many draws available other than some sort of straight draw. And I don't think he would be doing this with just a lone king unless it was like an ace king. I think he'd probably be raising with maybe a set, maybe pocket 7s or pocket 8s. Makes perfect sense. The other players fold out, and now it's to the person in the cutoff, and they decide to make a call. Now, for someone to call a bet, even though it's small, and a raise, even though it's small, I think he has to have something good. And by the way he did it, I think he has a draw himself. He has the shortest stack, so I don't think he would do anything but jam with a set or even a big king. So knowing that he's on a draw, and he might have a flush draw, which kills 2 of my outs, I decided to call, because the other method would be just to get it all in here and hope that ace-queen gets there. Well, the turn card comes out, and it is the worst freaking card in the whole entire deck. It is the king of diamonds. It pairs the top card on board. It puts out a second flush draw, and now my ace-high flush draw might be completely dead. I might be up against a full house already. I check it over to the big blind, and he puts out a chunky bet of 175. It's probably a sizing I would use if I had pocket 7s or pocket 8s. The other player in the cutoff decides to put in the call. He has a short stack, so he can be going with just about anything, but let's face it, he might have a king in this spot, or he might have some sort of draw himself, either a flush draw or a straight draw. So I'm in a tough spot. So I decided to do some math, and this is what my thinking was. Whether I'm drawing dead or not, let's find out whether I have the proper odds to be drawing to this flush with the current pot odds being offered me. So I did some math, and I came up with it's not really, it's close, but it's not that close. I'm actually need a little better price to put my money to work. So I might be drawing dead. If I'm drawing live, I'm still not getting quite the right price. So I ended up making the laydown. And I know a lot of you would definitely be calling in this spot, calling me a nit, all that kind of stuff. But I did the math, and the math said to fold. The guy ends up turning over King, Queen of Hearts, which was a little weaker than I thought. And the other player had 5, 6 of hearts and ended up making a straight on the end. So I was drawing live. It's just I wasn't getting the right price to draw live. So I let it go. Wondering what you guys would have done. Give me your thoughts on this hand.
I know it's really tempting to call with the nut flush draw, but I'm glad you stopped for a moment, calculated the odds, and then made the right decision. That's the difference between being a winner and a loser.
Well, here's a hand that's easier to play. I got 2 aces, open for a raise to 15, get called from the player on the button. The blinds end up folding out, so we go heads up to a flop of 10, 3, 4 with 2 diamonds. So decent flop for us. We're going to continue. We bet out 15, and the button puts in the quick call. Turn card comes, though, is a 10 of hearts. Not a very good card for our particular hand. We decided to check it, and we're happy to see the player check it back. River card comes as a 9 of hearts, puts up the backdoor flush. At this point, we're going to go into bluff catch mode. We check it over to him, and he fires out $35. We're definitely going to be calling. There is a chance that he made some sort of backdoor flush, but other than that, unless he slow played a 10, we should be pretty good here. So I put in the call, and he mucks his hand, and we take down this small pot with 2 aces. This was a straddle pot, and there was a raise to 16. And there were a bunch of callers, so I decided to defend from the small blind for $16 with ace 4 suited. Flop comes out 3, king, 6 with 1 heart. So missed us completely. We're just going to give up here. We check it, and it ends up getting checked around. Dreaming of a 5 of hearts, and that's exactly what we get. Best card in the deck for us, gives us a bunch of outs. We decided to bet $35. We get a quick call from the player directly on our left, and then it's folded over to the person in the cutoff who also puts in the call. Now, I was trying to decide what kind of hands they would have at this point. I really don't think the person to my left has very much. Maybe they picked up some sort of straight draw or flush draw. Player in the cutoff, I think, might have some sort of medium-sized pocket pair. And I decided to bet 50 here. I wanted to really look like value. I didn't want it to look at all like a bluff. And the first player folds out, and now the person in the cutoff kind of goes into the tank for a little bit. And I think they're really considering putting in the call. I think if I made a bigger bet, they might have snap called. I think because it was small and it looked so much like value, they decided to let their hand go, and I got this one through. There are 2 limpers in front of us, and we look down at 2 black kings. Definitely going to put a raise in, and we make it $20. It's folded back around to the blind who puts in the call, and so do the 2 limpers. So it's going to be a 4-way pot with $81 in the pot. Flop is going to come down, and it's going to be probably the nicest flop you can see without actually hitting a king. 7-3-3. So unless somebody has pocket 7s or a 3 here, there is absolutely no danger. There's no flush draws. There are gut shot straight draws, but there really shouldn't be in there with that. I ended up betting $30. I don't really like my sizing after looking at this. I think I should have gone probably $20 to $25. $30 was just too much on such a dry board, and everyone just ended up folding. They probably didn't have much to start with. It's a small pot, but we'll take it. So I was really glad we got off to a hot start, because the rest of the day was just treading water. Ended up winning 500 on the day, which isn't bad, but I mean, after that start, I thought I was going to have a really, really good day. That ace queen of spades hand was a pivotal hand. That king of diamonds just crushed my soul. I went from a huge favorite of 46.4% all the way down to 19% on one turn of one card. Hey, I want to get your feedback on how you would have played that particular hand. Whether you just jam with it on the flop, or whether you play it like I did, or would you called off and gone for your flush draw? I mean, I think those are the three major options. If you have a fourth, I'm willing to hear it. I'm always interested in learning something new. Anyway, I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching. I'm going to be at Lucky Chances Casino with Andrew Locke on November 10th for the Meetup game. If you're in the San Francisco Bay Area, please, it'd be great to see you there. Come down, say hello, play a little poker. We'll have a good time. And it's going to be a fun day. Anyway, until next time, good luck at the tables, and we'll see you back here in a few days.